The earliest birthday I can remember was a hike in Newlands Forest and playing in the rivers there, which I'm now doing with my son, which is pretty cool, full circle moment. I don't see it slowing down. It's going to keep moving. It's going to keep getting bigger. And I know they're going to hold on to all those values, which make it the event that it is. It's this incredible interplay of proper mountain, city, and ocean, which makes it pretty unique in the world. But for me, it's home. Huge pride. That's why I've always just loved being involved. Respect Table Mountain. Every route is more challenging than it looks on paper, but at the same time probably more spectacular than it looks on paper. 2016, 2017, and it's a gazebo under a tree. I really can distill what's special about UTCT to like the line that it's a big event, but it has like small events like culture and values. Trail running is growing locally. UTCT continues to attract many of South Africa's best.
Kane, welcome back to the Trail Chaser. When I say UTCT, what is the first thing that kind of pops to your mind?
Sure, a lot of things. I think, like you alluded to, I think I've been around for a fair amount of time now, and been fortunate to be involved in Ultra Trail Cape Town in a few different ways. It's like, my word, it's like almost like a decade now. Mostly for me, it's been my involvement in UTCT's mostly been like a behind the scenes, kind of more behind the scenes from a work front, working for originally Salomon and now Adidas Terex, as one of the partners of the event. So yeah, that's mostly been my key involvements. And then I suppose also like, I don't know, almost see myself as like a part volunteer to a degree, just because, like however I can get stuck into like assisting making the event the best possible event it can be, I'm always put my hand up. So yeah, like mostly route front, and then just being around to put my hand up to add value where I can. But I've run it a couple times, but haven't really gone in before with it being like, okay, my main focus at UTCT this year is as an athlete. This year, we've got some exciting stuff on the go that be from a Adidas Terex perspective. But I'm also hoping this is the year where I can give it a good crack as an athlete. I've got the space to do so, and like health and fitness and everything is lining up for me to be able to go out there and race at home.
And, as I mentioned, this week we're talking all about Table Mountain. What makes Table Mountain so special for you?
I mean, for me in particular, I suppose it's home, really. I think that's what makes it so special for me. I think what makes it special for, a lot of people, particularly the visiting runners, is that it's this incredible mountain that rises out of the city, like a proper big city. And the sea, it either rises from the sea or the coast is visible from most points. So it's this incredible like interplay of proper mountain, city, and ocean, which makes it pretty unique like in the world. But for me, it's like it's home, man. It's like it's extension of our back garden, I suppose.
And what is your kind of earliest memory of running on Table Mountain?
Earliest memory, I guess. I mean, I've come from a pretty outdoorsy family. I think the earliest birthday I can remember, my own birthday, was a hike in Newlands Forest and kind of playing in the rivers there, which I'm not doing with my son, which is pretty cool, full circle moment. But yeah, I was never like a laser quest kid. I was always more keen on being outside, whether it's on the mountain or at the beach. So yeah, then running in Newlands Forest with my dad, always hiking, and then yeah, like when I was at school, I went to school kind of in the southern suburbs, and at break times I used to run up the hill towards the Blockhouse. And these days I was more like a cross country and road runner, but I've always kind of gravitated towards the mountain.
Obviously UTCT covers most of Table Mountain, so in the races that you've run, what is kind of your favorite part of the route, of the course?
It's like choosing your favorite child. It's a tough one. I mean, I think these routes are all so well crafted again, because the people like Stu Mack and his team, the people behind the routes are they're all trail runners, they're all mountain people. So when they create the route, they certainly know what they're doing, and they know how to hero Table Mountain and the surroundings. But for me, I mean, I really enjoy the parts of the routes that take runners to areas where they may typically not go. So the kind of Hard Bay, like Sather Peak, Silvermine areas, in the 100 mile all the way down to kind of what we like to the deep south. I think those areas I think those part of the routes are great because we as locals we almost like we spoiled by how much we get to run on Table Mountain proper. So I think that the routes that take runners who may you know run a few hours a week, but mostly around the front face of Table Mountain, maybe Constantia Neck, all these amazing but more kind of common areas to go. Parts of the race that actually take people away from those areas and show them, help them discover new areas in the city they live in, which is amazing. A lot of people running trail for years, but they're not familiar with those trails above Hart Bay, which are just magical. Uh, and then, I think that from a local standpoint, and then from an international standpoint, I think, I mean, like all the whole routes are pretty special.
When you see the internationals come here and that they get to experience it either for the first time or experience it again, what kind of sense of pride does that kind of give you with them seeing Table Mountain and running on Table Mountain?
Yeah, huge pride. I think, that's why I've always just loved being involved and why, so many members of this kind of community love being involved because, we are proud. We do love to share our mountain with others. And I think, UTCT is just that occasion where it brings people here.
Oh, how do you kind of balance that when you do run, with the event and when you do work on the event? How do you kind of balance that? Say for instance, like this year, how do you perform that kind of balancing act?
No idea. I've never managed to do it before. I guess the thing is there races on my calendar which is about my personal performance, and like success or failure at that event for me will be purely down to how I run on the day. Whereas UTCT's never been that for me. It's always been kind of like what value can I add towards this whole thing, whether it's as part of a sponsor team of a partner brand, whether it's being a camera runner, whether it's being, I don't know, whatever it is, like from divvying up volunteers t-shirts to, I've done a few things, to helping host local runners, to making sure that they can have the best day they possibly have on the route. For me, it's about like, what value can I add along with all the other people that are adding value to what is this like celebration of South African trail running. But look, this year, I think I'm in the position now to, I think, have a good crack at the 55K. So, it's this year's about being like, okay, well, I want to be involved in all fronts, but let's also give it. Maybe it's also my time to have a good crack. Luckily, it's on the Friday, so I can run the race and then kind of get stuck in for the rest of the weekend, whatever that looks like.
And how do you kind of reflect on the growth of the race over the last decade?
Yeah, it's wild. I think, the Stu McConaughey, the race director, sent me a WhatsApp message the other day. It was a photo of the Alphen aid station from 2016, 2017. And I mean, it's a gazebo under a tree, which I mean, which is brilliant. I mean, it's still great. But and then if you think about what we'll see what Alpha and aid station is going to look like this year, and that's just an example. I mean, the growth in numbers, the type of elite athlete that the race has attracted over the year, the kind of runners we're seeing coming into the sport because of events like UTCT. I think on all fronts it's grown so much, as has the sport of trail running. I think the event itself will look very different to what it did 10 years ago. But at the same time, like one of the things that I could really commend the UTCT team on is that, like, their core values, like a lot of their core team, the things that have made UTCT special from the beginning, haven't changed. It's just bigger. It's still an event that's like rooted in community, rooted in celebrating our mountain, rooted in wanting to bring the best athletes in the world here, rooted in that those athletes will be treated as part of the community, rooted in that, it takes the involvement of everyone around here to make it the event it is. So a lot has changed, but at the same time, a lot has stayed the same.
Yeah. And you obviously race around the world. How do you kind of reflect on UTCT versus like races around the world? Obviously, it's a little bit difficult. Cape Town is home, but if you could, from a kind of a neutral point of view, how do you kind of reflect on the differences?
Yeah, I think, and I've probably said it a few times. So for some people, this could sound like a repetition, but for me, like I really can distill what's special about UTCT to like the line that it's it's a big event, but it has like small events kind of like culture and values. Like all the amazing infrastructures there, like all the runners, like everything is there, like it is in these all the other like big events around the world. But at the same time, when a runner finishes, their friends and family can be right there with them at the finish line, sharing a beer with them. That's just an example, but it's really how you get this amazing mixture of it being a big event, a big significant moment on the global trail running calendar, but at the same time, it's it's got like a small event kind of almost like personal low key vibe that just mixes in a for me a unique way. Like I don't know if I've experienced that anywhere else in the world to date.
In terms of Terex, what are the plans for this year? What like things can people kind of look forward to from the brand?
Yeah, so I think one of the ways we always show up is at the Alpha and Aid station. I think it's going to be amazing this year, so I definitely invite everyone, encourage everyone to get down there to support their runners, come and hang out across the weekend. The way we show up at the expo at the race village is going to be elevated again this year. I think it's always a combination. Having our hosting our one team in Cape Town, which they've been coming for years, even before Terex was officially involved in the events, and they're here again this year. And then how we can add value to what is an amazing event. But yeah, I think every year we kind of look and explore more and new exciting opportunities of ways to kind of improve the experience for runners and for supporters.
How exciting is it? And I guess also how much pride do you kind of get seeing like the performance of your one team, doing so well at the races, and then further to that, obviously, I think the 55 is probably the most stacked. If you look at the Terex team, it's like everyone's kind of taken a liking to that race. So how's that dynamic kind of working in the team?
Yeah, it's great. I think from the early years in UTCT, the way it's attracted top international talents has just been it's amazing, and it's testimony to the event and to what an amazing place Cape Town is to visit. So it always fills me, and I think a lot of people, with pride, knowing that these world class athletes who could race, they have the opportunity to race all over the world, choose to come to Cape Town to race it at RMB UTCT Cape Town. And yeah, for me to have teammates down here, to be able to line up with teammates, it's it's exciting. It's we as local as locals, we historically and still often have to travel to race against the best athletes in the world, and to have an opportunity to race against them here in our backyard is unique and very, very special. The 55 is loaded, it's absolutely loaded, because the route's fantastic. So I think if you've done it before, you're likely to come back. It's a nice sweet spot distance for like some ultra runners and some ultra runners at the end of the year. So it's a nice distance to do. So the starting list is and that's why we do this, right? That's why we race. We race because we want to test ourselves, and we want to compete.
Aside from the racing, what are you kind of most looking forward to for the weekend?
So it's a long pause. There's a lot. I just think there's so much to this event for everyone. I think like if you're a runner, you've got your own race, and then you've got all the other races that are happening, all the other opportunities to get out and support other runners, enjoy kind of the festival. And it's the same for me. Like I'm very excited for my race. I will finish, and my wife Pips will be running the 55K too, and she'll be finishing sometime after me. Like that's going to be a cool moment. And then yeah, then it's like the start of the 100 miler, Friday afternoon. Hopefully, I'll be in the position to go up Cliff Corner and see them off into the night. And then, Saturday, the 100K is going to be a barn burner. It always is. And to be out there to watch that, Sunday 35K is always exciting. Like, I think it's also like a really good platform for like local talent, like often also kind of the younger athletes, and seeing them compete, and ending it off with a bit of a party. So it's just you know there's there's so much to look forward to, and I kind of go back to it. But my race is just it's a part of that. I'm hoping this year it's a bigger and important part to it, but it's like it's a it's multiple days, and then of course that's the weekend. I mean, for me, UTCT really starts at Tuesday Trails the Tuesday before. Um, I think it's been said by many people before, but it really does. Like that Tuesday Trails happens, and it's just it's like, okay, everyone's here. This is happening. Now we get to celebrate our city with like-minded people.
And if someone's running it for the first time, what's the advice you're giving them?
I think respect Table Mountain. I think every route is more challenging than it looks on paper, but at the same time, probably more spectacular than it looks on paper. So I think come in with a healthy dose of respect and expecting it to be a challenge, and also being ready for an adventure, because Table Mountain is an adventure. And then yeah, I think come and enjoy the weekend. I think the way that the event is structured is that you have the opportunity to do your race and be involved in so many other ways. So run your race, come out at the different aid stations, whether it's Hout Bay, Alphen, like the new Newlands aid station. Come hang out, like come to the race venue, get involved. I think it's a shame, and I think you really miss out on the whole experience if you just lock and come do your race and then leave. I think there's a lot more to it at this event than what happens between the start and the finish line.
And to end off, where do you kind of see UTCT going, down the line next year, 5 years? What is the sort of growth trajectory you kind of look at?
Look, I think it's gone from strength to strength over the last decade, and I think I'll continue to do so. I think trail running is growing in South Africa. Trail running is growing locally. UTCT continues to attract many of the world's best, many of South Africa's best. I think it'll continue to do so. I do envision, world champs being down here in a couple of years. I think like that's only going to shine more of a spotlight on Cape Town, and I'm sure, before, during, and after, we'll bring more runners to UTCT. And yeah, I just think we'll just continue to see it growing and becoming like a better and better experience for everyone involved. I mean, it's so cool to see like the 100 miler routes is like what started off as like a real pipe dream many years ago is now, I would imagine, pretty close to what the guys envisioned it to be 10 years ago. And it's remarkable. It's remarkable how far it's gone. And I think that I don't see it slowing down. I think it's going to keep moving. It's going to keep getting bigger, and it's going to I know they're going to hold on to all those values that I spoke about earlier, which make it the event that it is, even while it grows.
Amazing. Awesome, man. Well, good luck with the next few weeks, and very excited to see you race on the Friday.
Sure, dude. Thanks so much for your time.